During Speed Weeks, there's a variety of racing here at Daytona International. And during a doubleheader for this Monday, glad you could join us for the KAYTEE and the Mystic IndyCar Series live on V-Speed. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper. And here we have tonight the road course venue to start off this doubleheader. 30 laps around the iconic road course for the Rolex 24. These Indy cars are ready to go as they will idle grid on the backstretch. Camera packs here provided by Dougie Beard tonight. Check us out at VSpeedSim on Twitter/X or VSpeedSim.com. But a quick look here as we have the Daytona Roval, as they call it. It's a different name. You know, you have your road ovals, of course, over at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's been one of those iconic events that NASCAR has kept for a while now. But this track map expands this 2.5 mile speedway to 3.56 miles. The lowest elevation 32 feet, highest at 47, so it's pretty level all the way around this place, but it's that 30 plus degrees of banking in the corners where these cars will draft up to one another before they hit that backstretch chicane, come out of turn 4 into the tri-oval. Then it's hard on the brakes just at the exit of pit road into the infield, where there are 7 technical corners. And you have to be very, very careful not to merge into a car coming off the pit lane. And also, 30 laps, that means 2 fast repairs, 40% fuel, 2 tire sets available. So these drivers might take their tire sets as they take their fast repairs. It might just work out that way. But with no full course cautions turned on and no green-white checkers, this one should go pretty quick. And if you make a mistake, it could hurt you in the long run. Of course, qualifying for points, I'd made the suggestion to Brandon Willard that they should just take the finishing order to set the grid for the oval part of this doubleheader. But unfortunately, they do points for both, and it counts as 2 separate races. But I think it would have added to the fire tonight, so I wish I could have announced that. But nonetheless, not to take anything away from Mystic. They do a fantastic job, and I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic race. But with that, it's time to take you down trackside and get the grid up on your screen. Starting on the top spot, had a good week last week. He's going to start on the pole. 132.357 for 7 Hawthorne in the number 18. Kirkenbauer with the win last week. Redemption from Richmond got the win at Michigan. Will start off in the 2nd spot. Then you go back to Michael Wade in the 33. Acrimony going to start in that 4th spot. Wesley Burke, Reggie Kime in row number 3. Then you go back here to Jaden Walker. You're going to have Lilac Zier electing not to take a time. John Steller and Mason Mitchum starting for the top 10. 16 cars to talk about with Steven Addington. Corey Kobe starting in 12th. iRacing Pace Car going to get the 1 to go signal here as we come around the tri-oval. Justin Miller, and of course our race control. The name's still not changed here this week. So I want to make sure that I get the name correct here. Not gonna lie, 7 days. 7 days in between that there. Dylan Brumley. So Brumley gonna start the 17 and 14th spot. Then go back to Caleb Hunt starting 15th. Dylan Hawkins will round out your field. There's that backstretch chicane. Actually, this is the infield, so kind of lost track of where they were. And a blinking issue here for 7 Hawthorne. So hopefully that clears up before we get to the start of this race. Following around this iRacing safety car. And a lot of this field kind of single filing out until we get to the backstretch. So while we have it here, we'll bring up driver of the number 18. Actually, just about to hit turn 3 and 4, so hopefully we can get another opportunity here for 7 Hawthorne. Let's see if we can get a better look here. Let's bring him up. I think we're in 1 and 2. Like I said, I lost track of where I was on the racetrack here for a moment, so we're going to bring 7 Hawthorne into the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I got you loud and clear.
Hopefully, I heard a window chime there, a USB disconnected or something. I hope that wasn't my fault.
No, you're all good.
So, I think that's your intro sound. 7, you're starting on the pole here. Put up a blazing fast time. But you got a lot of teammates around you here, and it's going to be hard to hold them off.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be challenging. I know they worked together quite well after Michigan last week, so it's going to be hard to hold them off, but I think the main focus is going to be taking care of these tires, and with this car so under-fueled, it's going to be a lot of pit stops, so executing on pit road on and off is going to be a crucial point in this race.
Well, hopefully you don't have to use them, but there are 2 fast repairs available. There's a lot more corners than we're used to here at Daytona for this doubleheader. Anybody you want to shout out real quick before we go green?
My family and friends for watching. I hope they enjoy this, and my team owner isn't here, so I hope we can bring home the hardware here.
Bad Badger Racing, number 18, getting ready to start them off here at Daytona. Good luck.
Thank you.
So the KAYTEE 300 at Daytona. It's set to go racing in just a moment's time. Pace car is going to make the left-hand turn as we get set for 30 laps at 75 miles. Green flag is out, and the KAYTEE IndyCar Series doubleheader at Daytona is underway. The racetrack in the background, that was Michael Wade in the 33. Had problems there in the 4th corner. Falls back to the 8th position just like that. Justin Miller also having a problem in the grass. I believe he was able to keep it off the wall. Back up front. It's toe-to-toe for the lead already. Kirkenbauer to the outside, looking to go back-to-back. Into the chicane. They make it through. And Hawthorne falls back to 2nd. And already trading back here across the start-finish line. Hawthorne said, I wanted to lead lap 1. Kirkenbauer got it by about 1,000th of a second there. And they're tight through turn 1. Loose and wiggle here. Hawthorne holds on to it somehow. Excellent drive there, but Kirkenbauer not giving an inch into turn 1. Back to the drawing board here for Hawthorne after taking the pole. You don't lead lap 1. Reggie Kime has fallen back a couple spots here, down 3 positions. Justin Miller still having problems off the racetrack again. Let's see if we can find exactly what went wrong there on the initial start. There was another car off the racetrack. I believe that was John Steller. Steller off into the... Yeah, he's going to need a fast repair after that one. We'll back this one up first and take a look at this. Looks like the car just hooks left off of the rumble strip. Yes, it does. and into the tire barrier. Front end destroyed on that VRL machine after last week's success. This week not starting off so hot. But we'll try to dial in that replay on the initial start here. And it was a start from the pits for Stellar. I might have backed it up a little bit too far, but let's go back here to Justin Miller. The pace car is about to pull off here. We'll hit the green flag. It was the third corner on the infield. Keep an eye here, running about the 13th to 11th position with almost 3 wide into turn 1. This is where things really go wrong on the 95. It's a car to the inside. And this very next right-hander, the car's going to shoot off into the grass. Here's the right-hander. Looks like just maybe a lock-up here on the front end into the grass. And just, it's a light slide, but enough to take him into the dirt. And that'll actually do it for Miller. He's going to back out of the session. Hawthorne took the lead back. While we were watching that replay, let's watch this. This was a send here under the infield. Got the lead after drafting out of turn 4. And then made sure that Kirkenbauer couldn't rebuttal it. This move here got a little bit loose. When we go back to the live shot, we're back to the drafting portion of this racetrack. Just like that, it happened so fast. And the focus here on the driver of the number 10. Trying to chase him back down. Or on the move right now, that's Dylan Calkins, into 54. And just like that, I was saying that, and Calkins is off the racetrack with damage. So, quick problem here. I'm not sure where Calkins got this. I'm going back quite a ways. Even, oh, right there. I'm not sure who that was that hit him. Labeled as the 33 on the racetrack here. This is Michael Wade that got into the back of him, tore the whole front off of that car. Wade's going to continue to drive it here. As the 86 just behind of Corey Kobe, still in 6th spot, but the front end aerodynamics are gone on this car. You can see no downforce. Has to lock it up there through the chicane and get out of the way to not cause an accident. That front cone being drug around right now by a tether. Battle for the lead heats back up. And a third car in this mix did not qualify, did not take a time. That's Lilac Zier catching up within half a second now. Board with Zier. A little loose there. Coming back onto the oval. Gonna lose a little bit of time. Hawthorne gets a really good exit off that final turn. It stays half a second ahead. The draft not enough to pull the 10 of Kirkenbauer back up. Remember, on an iRacing fixed setup, so it's all up to the driver's discretion on how hard they want to push. And it takes a lot of discipline here in these cars. already down to pit road. Hawthorne seeing the pit, seeing the strategy from the pole. Led a few laps. 3 laps led into the pit lane. So lap 6 underway. Lead change here. Kirkenbauer back up front. Will this force the hand of the 10 to come in a little earlier than I predicted? But assume these drivers could have made it about 10 laps. Lap 6, a little early, in my opinion. Especially if you're the leader. But off the racetrack, Kirkenbauer pushes it, and Zier going to take advantage, making up about 2/10 here. Could have been an opportunity there for the 89. Overshot the corner. Caleb Hunt down pit road as well. Reggie Kime, Michael Wade also into the pit lane. Race control there with Brumley in the 17. And watching this battle down the backstretch for the lead. And that does force the hand. Kirkenbauer down the very next time by. Zier going to follow suit and make the pass on the outside. That's a close call, but down to pit road speed. Watch that entry one more time. Made up a lot of time, but lost a little bit there on the exit of pit lane. So right back to about where it was, but you know who made up the most ground? Hawthorne's execution on pit lane. Gains about 4 full seconds. Those tires are definitely heated up by this point. Venture to say it's going to take a while for Kirkenbauer to have any chance. Corey Kobe racing on here with Mason Mitchum down pit road. Mitchum down and away. So full service here to the number 3 back out onto the racetrack. And the last of those cars to pit is going to be Jaden Walker, making it right around the lap 8 mark. Watch here with the 49 down and away. Fuel only stop here for the 49. So tires at a premium. Fuel only for a lot of these cars, but in the box for Hawthorne 6.9. Kirkenbauer, 6.6, and a lot of chasing down to do. Zier on the back end. They could draft each other, work their way up there. Marcomeni running in the 4th spot with Wesley Burke in 5th. About 10 spots gained. Calkins, even though Calkins got that damage, thank goodness, 2 fast repairs in this one. So far, so good for the 54. Problems for the 17. Brumley off the racetrack. There's also the 3 in the background there that had a mistake. We'll back it up just a little bit more to see what happened to Mason Mitchum. Car comes out a little bit wide here. Locks it up, trying to reset the car. Trying to straighten it back out. That stab on the brakes upset it more off the surface. But then you jump up ahead, and this is transitioning to the banking. This is the harshest transition on the racetrack, is coming down, or coming up onto that 30 degrees of banking. Watch it right here on board, and the car just steps out. Didn't even actually hit the transition. It just looked like throttle response was the problem. But a massive lead here of just over 5 seconds. Hawthorne showing them how to get it done. Started on the pole. Now, chalk up with 5 laps left. The oldest tires in the top 5. Seemed like it's paying off. I don't really see anybody, maybe the exception of Reggie Kime and John Steller, that took tires on that last stop. So really, all these drivers have the same tires. Who conserved them in the execution in the pit lane. Zier gets by Kirkenbauer for the 2nd spot and try to set sail. And so for the few IndyCar races that I've watched here on Mystic iRacing League, it's been this guy. Dominant at Richmond, dominant at Michigan. The 10 car has been fantastic. But it's been ovals. And this is the road course style of racing that we see in the IndyCar. This week, supposed to be at Laguna Seca on the original schedule. Instead, it turns into a doubleheader at Daytona. We will be on the regular oval, full drafting in the 4 corners and the steep banks. You don't want to miss that. It'll be coming up on the same broadcast. You can catch it here on B-Speed. We'll have a slight intermission in between the action here as we set up the next session. But for the most part, it is spread very thin in the top 10. Caleb Hunt, Mason Mitchum, 10th and 11th, the closest 2 cars really on the racetrack. And then you have 2nd and 3rd, about 3/10 apart. Kirkenbauer catching back up to Zier. Lilac Zier made a little mistake there off the backstretch. Then you have a car that's going a lap down here. It's Jaden Walker in the 49. Justin Miller out of the race. Caleb Hunt running in 11th spot was catching up to Mitchum, made a mistake as well, and going to end up losing a ton of ground. Back it up here and watch what happened to the 19. Again, that transition part of the racetrack, but nobody's actually hit the banking before they lose it. I think they're prepping themselves, maybe getting a little stir crazy, a little animosity, anxiety, if you will, about that particular set of corners. Caleb Hunt ends up losing about 3 seconds off of that. And Calkins down pit road is going to lose 2 spots. 2nd pit stop of the day for the 54 after using that fast repair. Riding on board with Calkins right on the back end of Michael Wade. Remember, Michael Wade was the car that got into the back of him earlier. Move to the outside. And using the push to pass, something that we failed to mention there the last couple weeks, didn't really become a factor until tonight. Push to pass not used as much on the ovals. It's a little bit more of a low downforce at Richmond, and then of course you could burn it all up at Michigan. But here tonight, push to pass at a premium. There's a few overtake spots where you'd want to use that, correct? And you want to go down that backstretch with as much speed as you can before that chicane. A lot of these drivers will use it coming into 3 and 4 as well. But really, push to pass isn't going to do you much good when you're coming into this part of the racetrack. If you're still on it there, good way to lose the back end. So you're watching that timer click down. Zier using a little bit of that. Will jump up to Lilac Zier in the 89. 1.9 seconds to lead now. So they've only shaved that in half. And if you look here, Hawthorne back into the pit lane. So on the short stint. And will we see tires this time for Hawthorne? This is where it's going to get interesting, is if you take that first set of tires, if you blink first, no tires again. Hawthorne decided it's time to go back out there. So Zier will take over the lead on lap number 12. Another car going a lap down. That's Reggie Kime in the 9. Kirkenbauer just under a second behind the 89 car. Still 24 seconds roughly left over on that push to pass, as we'll get back to our interval on the left-hand side. 12 laps in. This was about the time, a lap after for Zier and Kirkenbauer. And they'll do it again as the 10 contemplated it for a moment. Much better pit entry there that time for Zier. Maintains the gap. A little bit wide, just ahead of Mitchum. That's Addison. Addison's going to end up getting past. Then a lockup on the tires, a little slide to run on board with Mitchum. Down pit road now for the 3 of Mitchum. And after the cycle of pit stops, this time Hawthorne only gets out to about 2.8 seconds. Kirkenbauer looking to the, oh my goodness, who was that? Car sideways in the background. I think that's, I believe that's, no, that's not Addison. Somebody off the racetrack in the background there. That was Jaden Walker. Was looking for the number there. That was right in front of your leaders. And Zier going by on the inside of 1 and 2. Watch this to the outside. I think he's trying to get out of the way of Kirkenbauer. Ends up locking up the tires. Watch it one more time from the driver cam. Tough break there for Jaden Walker. Ends up 3 laps down. Hawthorne with the lead, 2 seconds. Kirkenbauer still on the tail. Lilac Zier, Wesley Burke, 15 seconds back in the top 5. Matthias Ezekiel Macrimoni running in 5th position. For Kobe, John Steller down pit road for the 5. Had a rough day as well. The 5 has had to burn one of those 2 fast repairs already. On that list is Michael Wade as well, of cars that have had to use it. Some other drivers taking an early exit. Caleb Hunt just left the race as well as Brumley. All by your lonesome. 24 seconds back from the nearest car. And a 1 minute gap here. Let's take it on board with Corey Kobe. Ashton Crowder, I have no idea. But watching from the Mile High Club, welcome into the broadcast. Appreciate the view. And even if he wasn't banned for the year, he did take an early exit. So Ashton, crisis averted. Caleb DOG in the chat as well. Caleb, where are you? What happened? I missed it. I'm looking back. I'm trying to find out what happened to you. And I think I found it. And I think at that point, you'd had enough. Seven Hawthorne has the lead, but it's heating up. Kirkenbauer has caught up and shaved that 2-second lead away. The 18 made a couple little mistakes, minor mistakes, but enough for the 10 to catch up. Zier also on the tail. We saw this before pit stops on lap number 6, and the number 18 has to drive for his lead now. Seven holding the lead. Kirkenbauer, Zier, tight top 3 here. Burke 16 seconds back, closest car outside of this top 3 battle. Corey Kobe. He's making a pass on Calkins coming off of pit lane. Past the halfway point, Daytona's doubleheader. The road course to start it off. Hawthorne has been the dominant car so far. But Kirkenbauer looking to go back-to-back after Michigan. Moza lost force feedback. So Caleb Hunt having problems. And without trying to diagnose it over the phone, check your power save settings, buddy. Hawthorne gonna pull the same strategy again. Down the pit lane, nobody has taken tires yet. We have 2 tire sets available. This would probably be one of those money stops that you take tires. This is past the halfway mark. You could have a tire set for the finish up of this race. And if I'm Hawthorne, I think I've lost a lot of time. I'm going to take 4 here. Missed the stall just a touch there. The jacks do not go up. It's another fuel-only stop for the 18. Going to wait till the very end. Again, reminder, push to pass. A big factor in this one. 95 of it left for Kirkenbauer. So these drivers made up a ton of ground on Hawthorne. But look at that number there. Hawthorne is miles ahead of Marcamini. 126 left. So to catch up and shave all that time away, Kirkenbauer had to burn an extra 20, almost 30 points here, seconds, on that push to pass to get there. Zier, not as much, probably in the wake of this draft, but the trend here today has been the 10 and the 89 hitting together a lap after the 18. I'm going to throw some mixed strategy out there and say they go one more lap. Would not surprise me at all if the 10 made it one more, just an additional lap here. You don't want to push it too far, but I think one extra one and then come get tires. I think that would burn this thing down, but they're going to pit together again. We're going to continue the trend. The 10 and the 89 side by side. They've been working in the draft together all race long. And this all gold VRL Delara will come in. Will they take tires? Will they do a fuel only stop? I think they're going to do a fuel only stop. They saw the time on that. Jacks went up on the 10. The Jacks went up 7.6 in the box. So Hawthorne gets the lead by about 2 seconds again. That jack going up for Kirkenbauer is going to make a huge difference. It'll take a lap or two for the 10. Get some heat in these tires. See 7 up there in the front of your screen, leading into turn 2 into this chicane. A lot of ground being made up quickly. Heat in those tires just about this point. Confident enough now. And I would not be surprised to see Kirkenbauer run away with the lead in just a moment. Zier all over the back end, going into 1. That traffic playing a little bit of a factor there. That was the 5 of Stellar. Stellar looks it to the right just a little bit there. Connection problem there for Hawthorne. A blink out really quickly. Watch this again. As we enter turn 2, the 5 just ahead of him here had problems going into turn 1 and almost caused an incident there with the 18. Now I'm curious to see what happened here. Let's see if we can back this up enough. Yeah, the 5 got loose going into turn 1. went out a little bit wide, and then right there, and this is where the leaders catch up. This could have been catastrophic. The 18 of Hawthorne has done a fantastic job to keep the 10 at bay, but doesn't have the luxury, that cushion that he's had most of the race. Kirkenbauer on fresher tires. I don't believe the jacks went up on the 18. Anybody out there in the chat that can confirm if I'm wrong? I'd happily be wrong, but I think for Hawthorne, this is the same set of tires he's had all race long. He's him struggling here as we hit the transition to the banking. This is the hardest part of this racetrack. Again, getting it up to speed. You have to have a good exit, and if you don't, you're going to see an overtake going into that chicane. Kirkenbauer looks like maybe backing it off just a little bit here. We'll check back in on that push to pass. It's 87 seconds from Hawthorne, trying to stay ahead. So now they're forcing the hand of Hawthorne to use that push to pass to maintain this lead. And if I'm Kirkenbauer, I have no reason to use it. I'm just going to sit in the draft and let this car pull me around the racetrack. Essentially, the 18 right now is a tow truck, and Kirkenbauer knows it. Well played here from the 10. In the closing laps, under 10 to go. 9 laps left from Daytona in the first part of our doubleheader here on V-Speed in the KAYTEE IndyCar Series. The KAYTEE 300 for Mystic iRacing League. That was a mouthful. Still getting used to saying that. It's only my 3rd week, guys. It's quite the fight here for the lead if you're watching off the back end. Hawthorne fighting. And again, the more I watch this 18, the more I'm concerned with the push to pass. The 10 brought it down pit road and is already on 4 fresh ones. And if you have to burn that much of that overtake to stay in the lead, I don't know. I don't know, folks. Kirkenbauer seems just fast enough through the technical portion of this circuit. Oh, and a slide, a good correction, and a lock up there from Kirkenbauer as well. Another close call for the 18. Watch here on the closing rate. A slide from both of them. And Kirkenbauer made a mistake on the chicane when we go back to the live. The 10 has lost some ground. We'll take it back one more time. Kirkenbauer slides it out just a little bit there. Couldn't get back to the throttle. Ends up losing about a half a second. and down pit road for Hawthorne. As you're watching us dance all over the place here with the cameras provided by Dougie Beard, we'd like to thank you for coming in and watching tonight's action of this doubleheader. My name's Bradley Cooper, lead production here for the Mystic IndyCar Series presented by KAYTEE. Check us out, vspeedsim.com. But down and away, again, I'm not sure if I'm seeing this wrong. I'm going to try to get a different angle of pit lane. The jacks did go up that time. I can confirm 4 freshies for the 18. Does the trend continue, though, for the 10 and the 89? He got that little bit of cushion there. When you get that half second, now I say, all right, that's plenty of ground to execute pit road. And with 4 fresh tires on that number 18, I like where it is. Wesley Burke has snuck his way into the top 3 here in the closing laps, but it's 12 seconds back for the driver of the number 7. Quiet day for the most part for Burke, up 2 positions from where they started. Hawthorne behind that will most likely be back in the top 3 in just a moment. Mark Minnie in the 77. Down 1 position, still the biggest mover of this race will go to the 54 of Calkins. And even after that fast repair had to be burned, still maintaining a top 10. That's impressive. Down pit road for both these cars. Jacks are up. It looks like a fuel-only stop here for Kirkenbauer. Here comes Hawthorne on the outside. The cushion 1.4 seconds after pit stops. Hawthorne could set sail here with no mistakes. Cold tires is going to take a little while. We'll see how hard Kirkenbauer's driving it. Push to pass being used, I can tell here. Saw that interval coming down a little bit. It's coming down really fast. Remember, Hawthorne had to burn a lot of it to stay ahead and fight on those older tires. But I think it's about to even back out. And I like this strategy. You might see the 10 take the lead here. There's no reason to panic. We still have 5 laps left to go when we cross the stripe here at Daytona. Not saying he's not going to fight just a little bit, though. It's staying within a second here at Daytona all race long. We've been watching the 10, the 18, and the 89 back and forth. The Sierra's led some laps. Hawthorne's led the most. And Kirkenbauer in the closing laps takes it over with 5 to go. This doubleheader is shaping up to be a good one. Again, that push to pass was burned up. Hawthorne going to use the tow truck. Much better exit for the 18 that time. Gonna pull right up behind. much shallower entry in the 10. That actually throws Hawthorne off of the groove. Watch this entry into turn 1. You can see how shallow, and then the 10 kind of jolts back to the outside. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but if I have the reflexes, I'm going to try to avoid that as well. I'm thinking maybe the 10 is locking it up, and that looked like just kind of a fake out. And if I'm Hawthorne, I'm probably frustrated with that. I don't think I would be too happy with that move. I don't think I'm mad enough to use my push to pass yet. Maybe a touch of it. There, he's going to use it. Oh, really out wide there. A mistake from the 10. He's going to have to let the 18 by. You saw him hop that curb there. And I want to see if I have a shot of that. That car almost went to outer space. We saw the shenanigans before the chicane. And watch this car leave the ground. That is a close call there for Hawthorne and Kirkenbauer both. That could have went anywhere on the racetrack. They're not done yet. 3 to go. Got a few cars out of this race with Justin Miller the first to leave. Jaden Walker having problems in the 49. Brumley in the 17. Caleb Hunt an early exit. Michael Wade, the most recent to join us here in the B-Speed chat. And during this doubleheader, I have to get prepped for this 2.5 miler coming up here very, very soon. It'll be 50 laps for 125 miles. That race should go green. They're aiming for 10:15, and the time's a little bit behind here. Lobby for oval is up now with practice and qualifying. But you saw right there, Kirkenbauer taking the top spot back over. These drivers starting to burn. That push to pass, it's about even with 3 laps now, 2 to go. Zier, after pit stops, falls back to 4th. Wesley Burke to the top 3. Failed to make mention of that. Burke about 7 seconds ahead of Zier. Looking like a top 3 night for the 7 out of nowhere. Only 5 cars left on the lead lap though. And really the dominant car of the day, pushing a little hard now. Kirkenbauer going to pull away a little bit here. Or in that that push to pass down a little bit more. No mistake through the chicane that time. That gave up a lot of ground the last time around. But what I'm still concerned about, 12 seconds shorter. We're going to keep that push to pass up for the final lap. Going to use a little bit here on the front stretch for Hawthorne. Lead still continuing to grow though. Hawthorne back 4 seconds, 1 lap to go. Hawthorne has to bring it down to pit road, short on fuel. What a shame for the 18. But Wesley Burke loves it. Burke's going to get a top 3 out of this and then some. Put it up to P2 for the 7. Zier back to 3rd. Hawthorne just short on the strategy. And Indy, Kirkenbauer has nothing to worry about. It is 12 full seconds back to your 2nd place. The 10 can just run away with it. It's on cruise control for the VRL Gold. Onto the oval, 1 and 2. No reason to have a worry. Push to pass means nothing when you're in the lead by this margin. Down the back stretch, Zier 9 seconds back in 3rd. Burke up here on the banking. And no one else really close to each other. And we'll watch the 10 drive past the airport. And come off of turn 4. Indy Kirkenbauer is going to go back-to-back from Michigan to the doubleheader to start off Daytona. And no celebration there. But 3rd spot gonna go to Hawthorne. Somehow got back out on the racetrack ahead of Zier. So Hawthorne, I'm not sure where that came from. I'm not sure if Zier made a mistake somewhere on the racetrack or what. A lot of push to pass was used, I'm sure. But Hawthorne in the final corner gets back to P3. How about that? Final race results coming up on your screen now. Of course, no cautions with 10 lead changes. It was between Kirkenbauer, Hawthorne, and Zier all night. But Burke, I think the biggest move here of the race is getting to 2nd spot, sticking it out. Wesley Burke going to gain 3 positions here for their top 3. We'll have a word with those drivers in just a moment as we go through the rest of this list. So that last lap pass there with Lilac Zier will finish in 4th. Acromeni will finish in the top 5, the last of the cars on the lead lap. Corey Kobe will finish in 6th spot with Mason Mitchum in 7th. Steven Addington going to finish in 8th with Reggie Kime in 9th. And Dylan Calkins, one of the biggest movers of this race earlier, had problems on fuel or strategy. Ends up with a top 10, but not the day that they wanted. Back here to John Steller, the last of the cars to finish this race. Michael Wade, an early exit for 12th spot. Caleb Hunt, 13th tonight. Then you have Brumley in the 17, labeled as race control, will finish in 14th. Jaden Walker, early exit, 19 laps down. And the earliest of all these drivers was Justin Miller in the 95. Now time to bring up your post-race interviews, and the first driver that we're going to talk to is your race winner. First time to go back-to-back that I've been around for, Indy Kirkenbauer. It looked like it was a struggle out there today, but you found a way to get it done.
Yeah, it was I was just kind of chilling for the first about 25 laps and just the first couple stints just saving fuel and yeah, and then I just finally decided to go and was able to get away pretty easily. So, yeah, I was just trying to go behind 7, so 7 wore his fuel off instead of dragging him along. Um, and then because I knew once he pitted lap 5 in the first stint, which I knew he'd have to do one stint that would be 7 laps around here instead of 6, which is just a slight save. So I just did 6 each time, and yeah, it was a definitely an interesting race, and it, it was be able to 7 ended up not being able to make it help me. So yeah, it was just yeah, just a good day. Win again.
Back to back, and we could probably, with an asterisk, call this 3 in a row. You had that restart violation at Richmond that I'm sure you're still reliving. I know I keep bringing it up. So you got that race win at Michigan to kind of break the ice on that, but this was a different venue. This is not what we've seen the last couple weeks that I've been here. This is more of the technical part, and the push to pass a little more important because of the high speed. Was that in the back of your mind the whole time with, having the 18 kind of tow you around? You had the opportunity to save some of that.
Oh yeah, I used it a little bit at the beginning, and then I was just kind of trying to lay off it until the last few laps. And when I crossed the line, I still have 5 seconds left, so I was just trying to save it for the last few laps, because I knew I'd be needing it constantly, and um, yeah, I was able to use a bit of it, and then just it was very, just yeah, just a solid win.
Again, Indy, we appreciate you coming up here to talk to us. Is there anybody you have? I know you got a lot of teammates here to shout out for this victory.
Yeah, I just think all my go-kart sponsors, BG Emery Associates, Make Something on YouTube, and Bayside Comfort Heating and Cooling, and thank you to everybody that at Boat Racing, and every thank you to everybody putting the league on, and everybody and you guys for putting on the broadcast.
Well, we'll see you in just a few minutes there for the doubleheader. Hopefully, we can get you on the oval side of things here at Daytona. I think it's going to be a little bit more chaotic, but keeping it within a few seconds of each other for most of this. It was a fun one to watch. We'll see you in a bit.
Yeah, it was. Thank you.
First place driver. And they ruled the doubleheader here at Daytona. That's the real question. It's going to be a different ball game when we get on to the oval. But the next driver we're going to talk to is Wesley Burke in the number 7. Where did you come from? Because I think it was slow and steady wins the race. Everybody else is thinking, I'm going to say push to pass. I'm going to save some fuel. And you said, I'm going to come out here, do what I do. I'm going to be real quiet, and I'm going to come away with the top 3.
Yeah, so I had some problems early. I ended up half spinning, which lost me the draft to Lilac. I guess that's how you say that name.
Yeah.
I lost their draft, and it was like, dang, well, there goes that. Fell 15 seconds back. And then those final like 2 runs, I was like, well, why am I gaining? I have no draft, yet I ran them down by like 5 seconds. I was like, come on. If only I didn't half spin that one time. I figured it out. But then no idea what happened to Lilac. I just went around the corner, saw him running the apron, and I was like, okay, free spot, I guess. And then I knew Steven was probably gonna be short. Or no, not Steven. 7?
7, yeah.
7?
You
Yeah.
got it.
Uh yeah, I realized he was gonna be short because he didn't save the first run. I was like, okay, well that's weird. Because with that extended caution pretty much meant you had to save like half a lap of fuel the first run, or you'd have to save a whole lap of fuel on one of the other runs. And I was able to barely save it. I had to like run map 5 the last lap of the first run. Still barely made it. And then I was pushing it every other time, but I mean, hey, came out P2.
Well, we're setting up to go to our second session here in just a moment's time. So qualifying will be starting here at about 10:35. I'll let you guys get to the racetrack. Is there anybody want to shout out really quickly? As my telemetry seems to have been broken here. I might have had a complete lockup of I have the wrong name up on the screen. I'm trying to get it to work. I'm trying my best here, but is there anybody you want to shout out real quick while we have you?
I guess shout out Premier Racing Setups. They build great NASCAR and late model sets and dirt sets and all that. I love to run the micros and the trucks. So go check them out at parissetups.com.
All right, Wesley Burke, congratulations again, and try not to half spin it to the oval side because that's a little more difficult to overcome.
Ooh. Yeah, that one would be a little bit. That would cause some mayhem.
All right, one more driver to talk to, and it is your third place finisher, 7 Hawthorne, who came back after, there's the intro sound again. So the USB is disconnected, and it kind of felt that way on the fuel strategy there. And I don't know, I mean, 7, you came down, you kind of knew after probably lap 20 that it was like, oh man, what did I do?
Yeah, pretty unfortunate. I guess I should have just saved a bit harder at the beginning. I was lifting and coasting, but it was pretty hard to do that. We had razor thin fuel margins and tire sets tonight, so it was pretty difficult to save that much fuel and double, if not triple, cylinder the tires. So I wish we had a higher fuel percentage and more tire sets, but it is what it is. So we'll take a third place. I'm quite surprised we got a third out of that. I'm not sure who I passed for third in the final corner, but I don't know if they ran out of fuel too. But I'm pretty happy that we was able to come back and get third and stretch out the points lead once again, getting close to the end of the season.
It was Lilac Zier there, who was in the top 3 at the tail end, and I believe did run out of fuel coming off of 3 and 4. Closing rate there was well over, I want to say it was like 7 or 10 seconds somewhere in there that you made up very quickly with that extra pit stop. But 7, I know the session has opened up. I assume you want to get in there. I don't know if you're in there already or not there for the oval side of things, but is there anybody you want to shout out here for this podium finish?
I just want to thank my team owner, Jonathan Kacheri. He got me in here, so appreciate that. And I just appreciate my family and friends watching. Wish I could have done better on the fuel strategy, but it was miscalculation, unfortunately. So we'll move on to the Daytona Oval and see how that race plays out, and we'll keep pushing these. We keep pushing these last few races at the end of the season, and hopefully we'll be able to hold up the hardware at the end and be the champion.
Evan, I had a bunch of questions about the moves there by Kirkenbauer. I had a bunch of things to ask you, but I got to get to this other race session before they leave me behind. So I'll see you there on the flip side, man.
All right. I hope you enjoyed the oval.
Third place finisher, 7 Hawthorne in the number 18. And that's going to do it for this part of the coverage. Doubleheader here at Daytona, so don't go anywhere. We have more coverage to continue. The oval side of things. You're watching the KAYTEE 300 at Daytona. More coverage. The Mystic V-Speed.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
fun today, guys.
Donnie Kite's gonna get through it all and score his first career win in the Saturday Night Racing League Cup Series. What a finish!
It's too little, too late from behind, and Sebastian Marin, your first repeat top split winner of the qualifying series.
We knew it was just a matter of time when Hunter Sr. is victorious.
Josh Adams taking the win at Iowa.
Juicy Spider Motorsports takes home the 1-2-3 finish.
Back here live for the KAYTEE 300 at Daytona, the Daytona Double. So we get set after the win. The 10 of Kirkenbauer gets the victory, goes back-to-back from Michigan to the first race at Daytona. But it's a different venue now. It's a different setup. It's a different race altogether. We're going to the high-speed banks at Daytona International. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper. We get set to go for 50 laps. Camera packs provided by Dougie Beard. And in this doubleheader here for Mystic iRacing League, it's a whole different style of racing. Drafting, going to be difficult to stay in a group with the push to pass a factor. A lot of different things here in this IndyCar. But what we will see, for the most part, is pack racing. And could see a big crash to top it off. We've got Gavin Smith out on the racetrack. A lot of these cars getting ready to start their qualifying, so we'll take a look at the track map. So different than what we saw just a moment ago. This banking the same, but a lot less turns. 31 degrees at the steepest parts of turns 1 and 2. 2.5 miles, Daytona Beach, Florida. This is the mecca of motorsports. This is where we started all off in NASCAR, and I'm excited for this. As we string out the points lead, 7 Hawthorne gets 3rd spot there. Then you had the 7 of Wesley Burke finishing it off after Lilac Zier ran out of fuel. The 18 had to come back in, ends up with 3rd position after that fuel strategy backfiring. ultimately Hawthorne on the save to get it all done. So for the KAYTEE IndyCar Series, a lot of these drivers have been putting some laps down in practice. We've talked to a few of them there post-race. Hopefully those drivers survive this one. It's going to be a different venue altogether. And if you're just joining us here, we ran 40 laps at actually 30 laps at the Daytona road course. We'll now be doing 50 laps with a different pit road speed limit. The same amount of tire sets are available with one fast repair. So we're going to -1 with 40% fuel. And the distance of this racetrack is about a mile less. So instead of seeing that, 5 to 8 lap stint that we saw earlier with the pack racing, the car out front for the most part is going to burn the same amount. But the guys behind that are getting towed around this place, they could very easily save, I want to say, anywhere from 10 to 12 laps of fuel if they're careful with it. And you will probably see a mixed strategy. It's going to be partner racing as well. That's the other part that we didn't really have. We had push to pass. We had people break away from the field. You're not going to get that here on the oval side of things. Daytona is notorious for staying grouped up, and cautions will be turned back on. No green, white checkers here tonight, so that is also a factor. And with that only one fast repair, you do not want to get caught up in the big one early. It's very easy to do so. Again, one fast repair flashing up on the screen. But that is about 1:51 left in qualifying. So we're going to pull up a driver that might do a little bit better in this scenario right now, starting on the pole. So I think if we can get this driver into the broadcast booth, doesn't look like Macrameni is in the Discord right now, sitting on the pole in the top spot. We'll wait for this qualifying effort to commence and finish out, but 1 minute and a half left, and only 2 cars are on the racetrack. 243 miles per hour for Zachary King right now. Andy Kirkenbauer might take away the pole. We'll have to wait and see how this goes, but John Ullman out on the racetrack a moment ago. Let's bring up your outside of the front row right now as it sits. It's going to be John Ullman in the number 34. Do you got a copy?
Yep.
John, we watched road course racing here at Daytona. This is a completely different ballgame. Do you have any friends out there on the racetrack? It's going to take a lot.
I have a few friends out here, but yeah, this is wild. We were doing 250 in the draft, so this should be a good time.
They compare the reflexes of the drivers to fighter pilots that control these things. And you got to constantly be looking over your shoulder while at the same time looking out the windshield. How difficult is that?
This is going to be insane. The runs, I think, are going to be way faster than the NASCARs. I don't really know what to expect. I don't know if we're going to be single file or if we're going to run around with 2 wide. So we'll just try to survive and be there at the end.
Doubleheader here, John Ullman. Appreciate you coming up here and talking to us. I know you didn't have a choice. I pulled you up, but anybody want to shout out while we have you in the broadcast?
Yeah, just shout out my teammates. Looks like I only got Reggie Kime here tonight, and you guys at the broadcast at V-Speed, and then Brendan for putting this crazy show on for us.
I don't know if it's cursed the commentator, but you went from 3rd to 5th while I started talking to you, so I'm sorry about that, and I'll let you get back to the track.
Thank you, man.
John Ullman going to start in 5th, was in the top 3 there just before we pulled him up into the broadcast booth, but it's time to talk about your grid. So we get trackside now. Starting on the top spot, snagging away that pole. Thought we were going to pull up somebody else there for a moment, but it's going to be Gavin Smith in the number 1. A time of a 36.555. That is cooking around Daytona. We're running 50-second lap times. These guys going well over 240 miles per hour on their qualifying laps, and as mentioned there by Ullman, they're going to go 250 in the draft. Zachary King will start to his outside, just about a 10th or 100th off there. 51 in 2nd place. Andy Kirkenbauer, the winner at the road course, will start in 3rd. Doesn't mean much here in this pack racing Acromini will start in 4th. To go back to John Ullman, who we talked to in 3rd when we started that interview, back to 5th. Row number 3 with Jonathan Gashiri going to start in 6th. Lilac Zier in 7th spot with Corey Kobe in 8th. Then you go back to Michael Wade. Justin Miller will start 10th. That top 10 with a 95. Reggie Kime and Dylan Calkins. Calkins had problems there on the fuel there in the road course. Will start in 12th. Stephen Hawthorne to the podium finish. Dominant driver there in that road course, but ends up 13th. Jaden Walker will finish in 14th spot. Now electing not to take a time from 15th back. John Sellern, Mason Mitchum, and row number 8. Wesley Burke and Stephen Addington, 17th, 18th spot. Brandon Willard going to make it out on the racetrack in the 22. Devin Lyons in 21st spot. 2 more cars with Dylan Brumley and Caleb Hunt. These drivers taking the grid now. The Rolex 24, an iconic venue for racing, as these cars now go around for their pace lap. The out lap here around Daytona. Gavin Smith going to lead them into turn 1. Let's see if we can find another driver to pull up into the broadcast booth before we go green. Zachary King in the number 51 starting on the outside row. Zachary, it's going to be a long one. I mean, only 50 laps, that go by quick, but if you have problems early, it can make for a long night.
Yeah, obviously happy to start second. Really, I think our best qualifying performance of the year, but obviously learned some of the cheats from some of the throws, but yeah, this is going to be different. Love Daytona. I don't know how this combo is going to be, but should be a lot of fun.
250 miles per hour down the back straightaway. Do you think this is going to stay pack racing, or do you think someone can branch off?
God, I hope not. I hope we just hope we all just ride. I don't want to be going that fast. It's already enough going 200 here sometimes in the Cup cars or the NASCARs, so gonna be real different than going 250.
Yeah, it's going to be a big run down the backstretch. Just keep an eye on both those mirrors. Anybody you want to shout out real quick, Zach, while we have you?
Yeah, shout out Mama King. Obviously, she's watching. Grandma King is watching as well in the living room, so shout out to them. Yeah, just gonna have a lot of fun in this IndyCar. Shout out to Daniel Racing and everybody back at the shop. They do a phenomenal job getting us ready. So let's see how this works. I don't know. I've never tried this combo before. I've heard it's chaotic, so should be a lot of fun.
Organized chaos for Zachary King, getting ready to go green. Lights are still on the pace car, but good luck out there. Race Chat 5, correct?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
The doubleheader here at Daytona. Just talked to Zachary King. Got one more lap here on the safety car for iRacing. Gavin Smith on the pole. We still have another opportunity to pull some more drivers up here. So it looks like the only teammate to John Oldman, it's going to be Reggie Kime in the number 9. If I can get him up here, Reggie Kime in the 9. You got a copy?
Yes.
Reggie, only teammate out there for Ullman, he said. But I think you guys are going to have to all work together to keep these cars intact before we get to lap 49.
Yeah, it's going to be sketchy, but it could be really fun and interesting. We're about to find out.
Yeah, doubled up, and I think right now this is the calm before the storm. A lot of hurricanes down here in Florida, and I've never heard of 250 miles per hour, but that's what I've been told.
Yeah, I mean, without even the draft, you go 245. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. There's going to be a lot of pace. So just hopefully we're smart, and hopefully I don't cause one of them.
Well, Reggie, I'm sure you're not going to look down to see how fast you're going. You got a lot going around you. But starting here in 11th, it's going to take you a minute here to get up to your teammate. Good luck.
Thank you, and you guys. I hope this is a great show, and we do you proud.
All right, shout out to Reggie Kime starting 11th. We'll see you in a minute.
Thank you.
All right, getting ready to go green here from Daytona in the double header. Now at the 2.5 mile oval, 31 degrees of banking. Weather on top of your screen, partly cloudy, track temperature pretty low. Should make for an excellent race. Week number 17 on the docket. Smith going to lead him into turn 1. The iRacing pace car will move out of the way for the second time within the last 2 hours. It's going to be pack racing at its best. "125 miles from Daytona, USA. KAYTEE IndyCar Series is back at it. Leading lap number 1, it'll be Zachary King, but not by much. They're 3 wide behind him. Big run from Zier for a moment through the tri-oval. And there's Gavin Smith falling back to second for a moment, back to third, back to the inside. Car on the outside wall, that's going to be Calkins. And cars scattering everywhere. Problems on the backstretch. Corey Kobe is around into the outside wall. The 86 has the front end torn off. And just like that, caution on lap 2. There's the problems with your pole sitter in the 1, and the 86 jumps over top of him. On board at 245 miles per hour. And all it took was that little bobble there. You saw the 86 jump over top of the 1. Back it up one more time. Watch on board. It's just a little bobble of the wheel here. Trying to make the move to the outside of Zachary King. And already a fast repair burned for Gavin Smith. You see the damage on the 8. That's Gashiri is going to bring it down pit road. A lot of these cars coming in to just top off with fuel. Again, only 2 tire sets available. You don't want to burn them too early. But everyone on the same strategy here. Let's top off and see how far we can make it into this race. But if you're the 8 car, you're burning that fast repair. Front tire being held on by a tether string. Able to hit the stall good enough there to start the service, get that fast repair done. But Reggie Kime going to elect to stay out on the racetrack, as did Caleb Hunt. I believe Caleb Hunt brought it down to pit road with an EOL. It was 2.9 in the box that I was getting on my telemetry, so maybe a start from the pit lane for the 19. Zachary King going to fall back to 3rd spot for this restart. But we got a quick word with all of our drivers. We got that restart, or that initial start, out of the way, and now it's only 4 laps in. Caution laps breed caution laps, and with the runs that we've seen already in those first 2, it is going to be a handful. These drivers made slight little miscalculations already on the backstretch. Going to have to be more mindful of the surroundings there. It's such a big run, and that's what caused our incident there on lap 1.5. But don't go anywhere. We're going to take another quick break. I got a couple things I got to fix here on the telemetry. But you are watching the KAYTEE 300 from Daytona. More coverage continues on V-Speed in just a moment.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Donnie Kite's gonna get through it all and score his first career win in the Saturday Night Racing League Cup Series. What a finish!
It's too little, too late from behind, and Sebastian Marin, your first repeat top split winner of the qualifying series.
We knew it was just a matter of time when Hunter Sr. is victorious.
Josh Adams taking the win at Iowa. Juicy Spider Motorsports takes home the 1-2-3 finish.
Welcome back. Green flag just dropped with Reggie Kime on the top position. And just as we came back, it's problems in the back of the field on this restart. A few cars having an issue. And it's Dylan Brumley down pit road with a destroyed race car. We'll take you back on a V-Speed instant replay to find out what happened to Dylan Brumley. So an issue here. Single file restarts. There's a little bit of a gap here in the back of the pack. The car looked like coming down pit road, comes back up the racetrack. Not really sure what happened here. But a check up there. The 18 got into the back of the 17. And then evasive maneuver. I'm not really sure what's going on with Lions here, but there must be a screen issue. Something cut out. And Devin Lyon done for the day. Lyon's out of the race. Lilac Zier having a disconnection issue right after that. So computer problems for the driver of the 89. But just as soon as we went back green, the race goes back under caution. So another opportunity to find some of these drivers out on the racetrack. We talked to King, we talked to Ullman, we talked to Kime. I had to pull up Michael Wade in the number 33. Do you got a copy with us here?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Oh, Michael, it was a rough one there at the road course. But I think hold my beer, because this one looks like you might need a red roof in after this.
Yeah, this is kind of my bread and butter. We raced here in the NASCAR side of things about like last week, and I was coming to the line and had a chance to win that Daytona race and the Cup car, and I DQ'd coming to the line, which kind of is aggravating, but hopefully I can make it up here.
Well, we go back to the start of this race where we're only 2 laps in and carnage ensues. The runs seem to be deceitful. You say you're familiar with the NASCAR side of things, but it almost seems like it's a catch-22 to get used to that, right? It kind of hurts you at times because you're not expecting guys to get a run. And we saw that already with a car moved to the outside, not expecting that.
Yeah, I think some of these guys in here are not familiar with how fast these runs come in these cars. I'm just trying to kind of babying it. When I see a guy getting a run, I'm just getting out of his way. I don't want to be in causing no big ones because, as you just stated, there's already been a handful of cautions already in this, and I'm not trying to be in it. So,
yeah, 2 cautions here, actually 3 now, with this third one on the restart. But Michael, I know you probably got some people supporting you out there in the chat. A lot of people going to tune in. Go ahead and shout them out.
Yeah, I got Jim Sturdivant. He's watching. My family's watching. I have a sticker on this car for my grandpa. He passed away a couple years ago, and that's I always put it on my cars because he means a lot, and I know he would be watching, and I'm pretty sure he is. So hopefully we can get it done.
Grandpa approved. Michael Wade, we appreciate you coming up here and talking to us. Good luck here on this restart.
Yeah, thank you guys.
The restart here in 7th position for the driver of the number 33 is John Ullman. Still with the lead here. Very short stint. Remember, we had that restart. Caleb Hunt stayed out on the racetrack. And a couple cars stay out. Then we recycled the pit strategy with top-offs. Still trying to get a sure number here on strategy. We might be able to make it to lap 18. But for John Ullman, he's not thinking about that. He's thinking about let's lead him into turn 1. Bit of a jump there on that restart. Justin Miller's going to get a huge run, and already to the inside for Michael Wade. Looking for 6, going into turns 1 and 2. Big run with the 9 of Kime on the back bumper. The back spoiler, rather. And there's that accordion I was talking about, the big run down the backstretch. Justin Miller going to take the lead, but for how long? Cuts it down a little bit. Close quarter racing for the lead. Car down on the apron. 4 wide for second. A lift out of the throttle. That's Zachary King trying to figure out where he needs to be. Got forced down off the racetrack in a hands full of steering wheel. About the speed at the beginning of this race. Here's the run down the front stretch. That time by Michael Wade by just a fraction of a second. And the caution is back out. It looks like Reggie Kime destroyed car upside down. And that's Hawthorne in the 18. And he's going to get some help. Trying to flip it back over. It didn't work. That was the 17 of Brumley. Maybe not happy. This wreck happening up ahead, and the 18 nowhere to go. The 9 of Kime destroyed. We already saw it here with Brumley trying to help out. I think to try to flip this car back over. I assume that's what he was trying to do. Let's see if we can back it up a little bit further and find what happened to the 9. This is up in the lead pack. Or on the wall. Oh my goodness. The Austin Dillon line through the tri-oval into the catch fence. Folks, if you get motion sick easily, you might want to look away for a moment. ride there for the 9 of Kime. And still trying to pace this car back around to pit road. Michael Wade has the lead, leads him into pit road. A couple cars going to stay out here, though. Dolman and Hunt are going to pull this again as we hit the pit lane on lap 13. Everyone topping off again. Just a fifth of the way through this event at Daytona. Nothing major yet. No tires used. Just top off with fuel to keep this car going around. Still no official numbers on how far these drivers can make it. We were venturing somewhere around that 10 lap mark if you really wanted to push it. But in the draft, it seems like these cars get such a big run that it doesn't really save anything to be in that draft. And if you save too much, you're going to lose the pack. These guys up front going 250 miles per hour down the backstretch. Looking like a handful so far. Gavin Smith with a black flag, a meatball flag, I believe. For Seven Hawthorne, Brumley, Reggie Kime, Lilac Zier, early exit to this one. We're back to Caleb Hunt in the second position. Michael Wade third. We just talked to Zachary King in the pre-race. Indy Kirkenbauer slowly creeping back up here. Could be one of those dominant Daytona days for the double. Not calling it yet. A lot of racing left to be done. Justin Miller in 6th. Addison 7th. Stellar in 8th spot with Leonard in 9th. Didn't get a chance to talk much to Christian Leonard last week. Let's go ahead and bring up the driver of the number 5. Actually going to peel it down pit road for one more top off before we hit that 1 to go signal. Driver number 2, rather. Going to top off with fuel. Race chat number 5. We'll let Christian get that quick top off there before we pull him into the broadcast booth. Don't want the 2 to get a speeding penalty on the exit. But now down and away. Christian Leonard is Bradley Cooper. You got a copy? Bradley Cooper in the broadcast booth. You got a copy with me?
Yeah, I do.
Christian, just walk us through the strategy here. I mean, we don't know what fuel numbers are like, and we keep topping off. If we continue these cautions, is fuel even going to matter?
I guess it won't if we keep getting all these yellows. Just gives us a chance to save. But pretty much that caution pretty much put everybody right back on the same strategy. So just kind of reset the board here.
Well, we've got a long race to go, and these runs seem like it's a catastrophe waiting to happen. You guys are over 240 miles per hour constantly. Does it seem like anybody's going to calm down out there, or are we just going to continue on the trend?
Well, I wouldn't think so. It's just probably going to get worse from here as the laps wind down. You know, there's really there's no opportunity to lift or even really change lanes. It's just constant runs over and over again, and anytime somebody misjudges a small gap, we're all right together. So it's just going to be a big pile up. So I don't expect it to calm down.
Well, I'm going to get you back in race chat 5. Good luck, driver.
All right, thanks.
Christian Leonard in the number 2 going to restart here in 12th position. Green flags back out, back underway with John Ullman leading him into turn 1. Lap 15 here out of 50. Single file restarts and only a block on Kirkenbauer to the bottom of the racetrack. King is around. And a dodge there from the 8. Caution's out. An aggressive driving there on that restart. Zachary King, the lone car to get damage. Watch the aggression here on this restart. Blocked all the way to the yellow line there. Taken on board with the driver of the number 10. Like King not touched there on that restart. We'll watch it one more time to do it justice. See if we can get a left front suspension here, something. But I don't believe that Kirkenbauer touched the 51 at all here. It looked like initially he did, but yeah, there's nothing there. It's just King was trying to take it to the apron and ends up spinning himself out. Gonna have a fast repair, so King's still in it here. But after you burn that, you're a little more cautious. I don't think we'll see a move like that again from the 51, at least not in these next 30 laps or so. And John Ullman is loving this right now. If we keep having these cautions, you can maintain the lead. Yellow after yellow. Again, no green-white checkers here. Only for one fast repair. We can see attrition start to sink in just a few laps. We've already seen Devin Lyons out of the race. Lilac Zier, Brandon Willard, a starting park pretty much here 4 laps ago. 17 laps down. So yeah, pretty much a starting park there. 4 laps down from Devin Lyons, who had problems. Lilac Zier, Dylan Brumley, Gavin Smith. And then Reggie Kime still on pit road trying to get this damage repaired. Seaman Hawthorne, or Seven Hawthorne, I always do that, Seven, I apologize. Got the car back up to par now. Looks like a little bit better than it was, but after that flip, it took a while to get back to pit lane, lost the lap. Zachary King topping off with fuel. It's John Ullman with the lead, and Caleb Hunt, second spot. Very short restarts, very short stints in this one so far. But we're running out of drivers in the Discord to pull up into the broadcast booth, so I'm going to take another quick commercial break here. I apologize, but here on V-Speed, I got to save my voice. We got still 34 laps left to go in this one. So we've got a while before we can call and shout at the end of this doubleheader. And I've been at it for about 2.5 hours now. So we'll be right back with the KAYTEE IndyCar Series here on V-Speed. Welcome back here to Daytona, where we saw Caleb Hunt have the lead briefly, and then just across the line, 3 wide for the lead change. The 33 took it away. Watching an instant replay off of the turns 3 and 4. There's the move by the 33 to take it up the middle. and he'll lead lap number 18. Back to the live shot now, as Kirkenbauer has found his way around. Back and forth with the big runs. Justin Miller to the outside. If you're just joining us here for caution, 7 lead changes, side by side down the backstretch. John Ullman trying to get back to the lead. Had it a lot there under those caution laps. Kirkenbauer trying to hold him off. Miller to the outside. Gets the run. By 3. No. 1,000th of a second. Kirkenbauer leads that lap. According to my telemetry, just barely had the lead across the stripe. Again, we've talked about the wild ride that this car brings. Here's another wild one. Caleb Hunt on the outside. For the lead, just ahead of Hunt. That's Zachary King taking over the lead. Remember, had problems just a moment ago. Had that block trying to take Kirkenbauer to the line. Has the 10 behind him again. Here comes the 10 off of turn 4. Kirkenbauer to the outside. Problems in the background. That's the 2 of Leonard. That time by, it was the 10 that led the lap. Caleb Hunt down pit road, but the 2 was into the wall there for just a moment. Back on the replay. Cars bringing it into pit lane, a couple of them with black flag penalties. John Ullman and Caleb Hunt both getting a speeding call for entering pit lane, but this is the outside wall we were talking about. And that might have been why Caleb Hunt brought it down pit road, not entirely sure. Nope, I think he was naturally coming to pit lane, just overshot it. So serving that penalty now for the 51, it's to the lead, but not for long. Here's the 95, the 33, the 10, trading it back and forth. And a slight wheel hop there, a little touch on the left rear from Justin Miller to Zachary King. Again, on board with the 51. Big run, nowhere to the inside, gonna take the outside. Follows in the tire tracks of the 10. Kirkenbauer gets the lead for a moment. 249 miles per hour down the back straightaway. Aiden Miller, we got a wiggle there on the inside from the 10. King will lead this time by. And here comes Calkins. The 54 out of nowhere. Gained 6 spots. Steven Addington up 11. On the bottom of the racetrack, that's the 18. Car on the wall. Big crash. The 33's involved and into the catch fence. Who was that in the catch fence? I think that's Jaden Walker. That is the longest catch fence ride I've ever seen. We set a lot of records here on V-Speed, but we never want to set that one. There's the contact with the 10. Looks like the 95 gets a piece of damage. But wow, that car is mangled. It's shredded apart from the safer barrier. We got to go on board. And that's all it takes in these Indy cars. And just shreds the car apart. Again, that is the wildest catch fence ride I've ever seen on iRacing. That one's going to go down in the history books, folks. That one's definitely going to have a V-Speed top 10 for it. Zachary King brings it down pit road to top off with fuel. Jaden Walker on pit road. Jaden Walker, are you okay?
No! I'm
All
dead.
right.
Get the bagpipes out.
That is the longest wall ride I've ever seen.
I'm sitting here looking at the replay. I'm trying to figure out where I broke loose. It was fun while it lasted. But that was scary.
It looked like a lot of net code there on the inside, but the car to your outside sent you into the catch fence. You went from turn 1 exit to the backstretch on the safer barrier, shredded that car apart, and had to tow to pit lane. But man, what a wild ride. I bet the force feedback's probably clipped a few times there.
Before this race started, I turned my force feedback down.
Yeah,
for that very reason.
Thank goodness for that. But Jaden, I had to do a wellness check here because that one's going in the V-Speed top 10.
Oh yeah, we're in the infield care center right now. We're iced up and ready to go to Halifax in a minute.
Yeah, I would say. But Jaden, outside of that, I mean, this is wild racing in and of itself. The runs are quick. Everything's bigger here in the IndyCar.
Yeah, that's why I jumped out to that outside lane with Zach. Me and Zach were charging there, and the outside lane, if you can not break free like I did, you can actually make up some ground out there. But it's just all about right now. I would say running up front is managing the runs. If you can manage the runs, you'll be able to do fine. That's what I see from it. If you can manage the runs at the right time, I think of it as like a bigger Indy, if that makes sense. Like you just got to know when to take that run.
Well, Jaden, I know you had to tow to pit road. You still have that opportunity, I believe, for a fast repair, so should be able to get this car back out there. But on the slim chance that happens again, is there anybody you want to shout out before we let you go?
I just want to shout out Brandon, and I also want to shout out my baby. She was born about a month ago. She's doing well now, and your dad's in here tearing down catch fences at Daytona.
Yeah. And I'm sure that one day there'll be a father-daughter race and you'll be doing the same.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Walker, appreciate you talking to us, buddy.
No problem.
So there's the wellness check there. Jaden Walker setting records for flight time at Daytona, which is strange with the backstretch being an airport. Zachary King will be your leader for this restart. Past the halfway mark in this double header. We're 3/4 of the way in. Your winner at the road course just behind him, Andy Kirkenbauer. Steven Addington, Dylan Calkins, Arcumini in the 77. Slowly creeping up through this field. Was down a few spots back to where he started. Justin Miller in the 95 just behind that in the 6th position. But it's single file again. Pace car out of the way. 6th restart. Here we go with King. Push to pass, not a factor here at Daytona. These cars wide open, 100 or 237 miles per hour there as they get them up to full song to 240, 245. King on the outside. They broke away from the rest of the pack. King got a good run. Highline seems to be working. 51 has it figured out so far. 10 laps led out of 31. Play a power move to the outside, a scrape with the wall from the 95. More wheel touching. A lot going on down this backstretch. The aggression continues. They haven't dialed it down at all. Here comes Calkins in the 4th spot. A big surge on the outside, a few positions back. That looks like the 8 and the 81. Working their way closer. 8 backs out of it. That's actually the 33, I believe, a lap down. Trying to get his lap back the old-fashioned way. 2 laps down for Michael Wade. King still goes back and forth with Kirkenbauer. They accordion back together. Top 10 had a pretty big size margin there on that restart. In fact, most of the field had lost ground. Now have a few lagging back in case something happens. But with this draft, it's hard to stay away from one another. Stuck in the sucker hole. The 51 drops down in front of the 10. 33 is back 1 lap for now. So still trying to get that lap back. It's going to be hard. You're going to trade it back and forth. You're hoping that when you have that nose out ahead of King or whoever's on that lead spot, that the caution would come out. You get that free pass position. But if you're the 33 right now with Michael Wade, you've got to hold it steady. You're up here battling with the leaders. You do not want to be the cause of that caution. It sets you back, and already burning that fast repair pretty much puts you done for the day. This car is so fragile. Any damage at all is going to take them out. And problems again. Carl inside. That's Kirkenbauer. Destroyed to the outside wall. No yellow. Lap 35. That car is mangled. And the yellow does fly, but he's stuck on the inside. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to get it back to pit lane. It was a move back and forth. And there's the contact. Inside wall at 230. Watch this again in slow motion from our blimp camera. See if we can get a better angle of who that car was. I think it's the 95, so we'll have to ride on board with him in just a moment. But he jumps over the back of Kirkenbauer, who slides to the inside wall. There's the hard impact there. But we'll take it on board now with the 95. who ends up with left front damage, dances along the edge of the wall here to keep it out of harm's way and not destroy anyone else's car. A little bit more here. You see a lot of weaving back and forth by the 10. And that was an invitation there for the 95. And then there was an incident after the fact. I believe that was what brought out the yellow. I want to see if I can figure out who that was. So I'm going to dial up another replay. This is what actually brings out the caution. And this is way after the fact with the 34 of John Ullman. This is well after the 10 of Kirkenbauer had hit the wall that did not trigger the yellow. It was an incident on the front straightaway. So there's Kirkenbauer going to the inside, the damaged car of the 95 to the outside wall. 34 gets clear of it and then ends up hitting the outside wall, gets in. I believe that's the 54. Yeah, it is. Of Calkins, who was running up in the top 10. Back to 15th now. This is just... There's nothing you can do about this. You see this incident, you think, okay, I'm out of it here. Still have a little damage there on the left front of the car in front of you, but you're able to avoid that. And then this happens. Back to the Daytona double. The green flag's back out. It's Jonathan Gashiri taking the lead on the outside with that restart. King trying to take it away as soon as we hit the green flag. 51 to the bottom. Left the 8 out to dry and zooming off of turn 2. 51 back to the point. Millard with a move through the middle. Car pushes up towards the outside. Snake on the Dragon Tail to lead a lap. It'll be the 4th lap led for Justin Miller. Battles in the background. Still have the 33 mixing it up with these guys. King, Gashiri, Miller mixing it up for the lead. Miller gets by again. Addison into the picture as well in the 81. The gap about 2.6 seconds to that second group from 5th on back. Lost a lot of ground. If I'm this front 4, I'm going to stay single file, try to work together for a minute. Try to maintain that gap. This time by on board with Miller, and that weaving back and forth, they ran a 37.140. And somehow that's still faster than the cars behind them, but it is slower than Mason Mitchum in 5th position. And this group of cars that's running, 6 or 7 deep. There's Christian Leonard They ran a 36.593. So the last lap time on the left-hand side of your screen, you can see the difference there between fifth spot and the top two who are fighting for that car down pit road in the background. I believe that's Hawthorne. So they are making up ground a 4 or 5 tenths a lap. On board with the two. They've caught up to the front group now. Has been fighting amongst themselves for a few laps. Big run on the outside here. King sees it, moves up high. Breaks up that momentum and takes the lead. Has been masterful at breaking up the momentum. He sees that run there by the 34, not a threat. The 33, not a threat. Didn't really need to move up in front of that car. He can absolutely use this to his advantage, though. These two cars in front of him could tow truck him away from the rest of this pack. Mason Mitchum has worked his way up to second spot. Move on the outside from the two. They've caught back up again to the leader. That car's playing a factor on the inside, not allowing the lane. Nothing there for the bottom. If you're Mitchum, you're probably a little frustrated. The 33 and the 34 controlling both lanes. King loving it. Breaks up the momentum again from the two. I think he's still got a little bit of a run, but nothing there. Where do you go? King able to get clear of one of them. Will he take the outside? Another lap car becoming a factor. This one's going to be a little bit different. That's Kime. And 4 laps to go from Daytona and the doubleheader. King with the lead. Has 3 lap cars to his inside. Setting the pick. We're going to go 3 wide. They're running out of time. And they know that they have to get around this 51. He has been using this traffic to his advantage. Slice to the inside, well executed from Mitchell. See the break there from the 33, gonna let these leaders run it out. King gets back to the point. Jumps in front of the 3. 3 to go. 2 laps left now. Coming down to the wire for King. We're going to see a big surge on the outside. King can't do anything about it yet. We're going to get the white flag off of turn 4. One more time around Daytona. The last 2.5 miles of the doubleheader comes down to the 51 and the 2. The 3 of Mitchum could have a move here to the outside when we take it 3 wide with the 8. You know somebody's ready to build this run down the backstretch. King, a little block there on the 3. He's going to get a surge of speed on the inside, but the outside's been the run off of 4. Can King defend it? It's going to take some side draft. Here's the 3 wide with the wall ride, and there's King around. They're all wrecking, all of the leaders. And Mitchum against the wall. Mason Mitchum with a wall ride. The Chastain in the 3. And no nose cone to talk about it. He has him sized up. I don't think he's sized up anymore. Let's take you back on an instant replay and watch how this all unfolded. This will be coming. This is 2 to go here. We'll be coming to the white flag down the back straightaway. See King there on the inside, the 2. Some of these cars did not make it across the line under their own power. Here's the white flag in the air. See that side draft down the backstretch between the 2 and the 51. This is where it all goes wrong for King. The 3 wide, the 8 off the wall, the 3 gets into the back of him there. And full send. Never lift off the throttle. Wall bounce. And the fireworks go off. The back stretch is where they are, but I think we saw more of them on the front stretch. On board with the 3. And it's Mason Mitchum with the victory unofficially here from Daytona. With a wall ride across the line. Post-race interviews with your top 3. We're going to round up those final race results. You're watching the KAYTEE IndyCar Series. More coverage continues right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. iRace or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Donnie Kite's gonna get through it all and score his first career win in the Saturday Night Racing League Cup Series. What a finish!
It's too little, too late from behind, and Sebastian Marin, your first repeat top split winner of the qualifying series.
He knew it was just a matter of time when Hunter Sr. is victorious.
Josh Adams taking the win at Iowa. Juicy Spider Motorsports takes home the 1-2-3 finish.
Back here live for the Daytona Double, the KAYTEE IndyCar Series. Fireworks on the front stretch. After Andy Kirkenbauer gets the victory at the road course, it's a VRL driver in the number 3. The votive driver Mason Mitchum finding his way to victory lane. Final race results with the race recap of 6 cautions, 17 lead changes. Gotta say, the runs these drivers were getting the second half of this race cleaned up a lot. They all came down to that final lap, finishing under green here. Ezekiel Marco-Mini, we'll get a word with the 77 in just a moment. Pulling off a second place finish here. Jonathan Gashiri gonna finish in 3rd. Corey Kobe gonna be in 4th spot. John Steller in 5th position. Stephen Hawthorne salvages the day after being upside down, finishes in 6th. Justin Miller 7th. Then you have Caleb Hunt tying there. I believe Zachary King not able to finish under power there. Gonna end up 9th. It's kind of a tie here between King and Hunt, so I'm not sure on the telemetry there. But then Steven Addington rounding out the top 10. Also another one of those cars that we're not sure officially on their result. Christian Leonard was on the outside there in those closing laps, came out of turn 4 in 3rd spot, will end up 10th, 11th spot unofficially. John Ullman in 11th. Telemetry very broken here, 12th spot actually being labeled, so it's a little bit back and forth. Kirkenbauer in 13th with Wade Kime. An early exit for Calkins, 15 laps down. Walker also out of this race. You also have Gregory Schmidt, who started on the pole here tonight and was not able to even lead a lap. The one car is going to finish in 18th. Brumley in 19th. Zier in 20th. You have Devin Lyons in 21st with Brandon Willard on the starting park and Wesley Burke, who got that top 3 at the road course, 53 laps down. Connection issue possibly here for Wesley Burke. Now it's time to bring the drivers up from Race Chat 1. We have a lot of drivers in the waiting room. So the first driver we're going to talk to, Mason Mitchum. And Mason, we don't have to read the comments. We don't have to read anything. All we have to do is read from the prompter, okay? That's what you got to do here for this post-race interview. Read from the prompter. Mason Mitchum, you got a copy?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, there you are. Okay, so you come out here starting in 16th. You didn't post a qualifying time. You led 2 laps, but most importantly, you led the last one. This race comes down to, we start out caution heavy. A lot of people get jumbled up. A lot of your teammates that would have been helping you in this one get thrown to the back of the field. You have to go out there and do it on your own.
Yeah, it's Daytona things, right? Like everyone will be mad about the way races end because like they think you did something on purpose or maybe not. I definitely didn't do it on purpose. I just didn't know whenever he moved up the track. I think my front of my car kind of hooked up on his, and that's just one of those things that happens all the time at Daytona at the end of races. I think we're being a little naive if people want to act like this hasn't happened hundreds of times in hundreds of different Daytonas. That's the nature of Daytona, right? We've done it hundreds of times, and that's just it sucks to lose like that. I mean, I've lost like that. People lose like that all the time, and I understand feeling bad. So, if you want, send me a message. I'll talk to you about it. Absolutely not malicious. Absolutely not on purpose. Absolutely, really don't care if I win or lose. I wasn't trying to crash anybody, and really, there's nothing on the line for me, but just having fun. So, if you really like want to think I was being malicious, I just was not. So, I apologize if you feel that way. I really do.
Mason, I told you to read for the prompter. I don't know if that message came through or not, but you did a pretty good job there. Let's talk about the race win now. You got the victory. I mean, again, it's Daytona, like you mentioned. It's a racetrack that's very tough, and it could have happened on lap one.
Yep. It can happen on lap one, and there's so many crashes. I mean, for example, like if we didn't have fast repairs, plenty of people wouldn't have survived even to get to the end anyway. So that's just one thing that happens. Like my own team had people get like Andy crashed, right? Andy didn't make it to the end. Unfortunately, he got crashed out of the race. Came back in with a fast repair, just didn't have enough time. I think it's just one of those races you just got to sit in the back and wait and let people kind of weed themselves out. And then on that last run, it was very interesting. There was a lot of lap cars who came out in front of the pack, which that's kind of was my trigger to go up there and start trying to pass them. So maybe I can try to escape from the people that were still on the lead lap. Didn't really transpire that way. It got really packy at the end, and it's just Daytona things, right? It's just Daytona things. That's all I can say.
Yeah, and it's exacerbated by the car and the way this thing is so air dependent. We see. I don't have to tell you, Mason, but I broadcast 20 some leagues a year, and I've seen it a million times. But this car is its own spectacle because the runs are exaggerated, the speed is exaggerated, and you're making split-second decisions all the time.
Yeah, everything's a split second. It's the final, especially when you're coming down to the wire on a super pack race, right? Super pack race, like there's no escape. You got to make a move to win the race, and that's just what happens in a split second. And you can very easily have your dreams dash, and you can have your dreams come true. Just whatever happens, and that's kind of what happened there. And yeah.
Well, Mason, I know you already kind of shouted it out there in the chat, but is there anybody else that comes to mind? I know you got some teammates in there that helped you through this one.
Yeah, it's just fun racing with my team. Indy and John Steller, they're fun. We're just here to kind of come in here and work together as a team and see what we can do just for like on a no pressure kind of race, right? So that's what it kind of comes down to, and I want to shout them out for sticking out through this league so far. I know it's there's been some interesting moments, but I think we've been doing pretty okay. So let's shout them out. Shout out Shane Coker, who runs Votive Racing League. So we have very I would say a very high quality league where if you were if anyone's interested in seeing kind of how IndyCar can be ran at a high level, you may want to check that out. Could learn a lot that way as well. And then let's give Brandon Willard a shout out. He's putting together Mystic, and it's really a lot of fun. I think that it's like a league where if you want to learn how to drive the IndyCar, this would be a good place to come in here and get your feet wet and see kind of if it's something that you like. So we'll shout him out, and we'll shout out some of the guys in the race that I thought did a good job. And I think Jonathan Giacherri, I hope I said his name right. I think he did a fine job in this race. I was kind of keeping an eye on him, so he did pretty well. Seven Hawthorne, I feel like Seven literally went through the gauntlet today. All kinds of things went wrong, and it still worked out for him to get a P6 in the end. And I think he's going to win the championship. So congrats. He's actually been doing really good this year. So I will take my hand off to him. And yeah, that's what I got today.
Mason Mitchum, congratulations here on this win and the doubleheader. I know it was a long road to get here in the infield, but you finally put it up there on the top spot. Appreciate you coming and talking to us.
No problem. You have a good night.
Race winner, Mason Mitchum. in the number 3. So we're trying to catch up. I don't think we're going to get Marco Manny into the broadcast booth, so we're going to settle for the 3rd place. And I say settle, I mean, I didn't mean that as an insult. Gashiri, do you have a copy with us?
Yes, can you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear. You know what? I just was talking to Mason Mitchum and a few of these other guys here in VRL on the team there. They said they're keeping an eye on you. Said you did a fantastic job. How did you feel about your race tonight?
I mean, like, the race is like, it's Daytona. I mean, I hate super speedway racing. I just think it's like the most dull thing ever. The goal was just to have fun and survive to the end, and that's what I did. I mean, the wreck out of turn 4 was very bad, in my opinion. I mean, we had the entire front pack get absolutely destroyed, and when you see me guys go through the grass to get 3rd, so I mean, it was quite the finish of this race, and I really don't know what to say about it.
Well, you could say it's Daytona. That's kind of what we chalked it up to. I know that everybody's kind of got this maybe ill feeling about the outcome, but if you're a Mason Mitchum fan, you're happy. We saw the opposite side of that, but you got to feel kind of balanced in between, probably pretty neutral.
I mean, I appreciate the shout out. I mean, I ran a clean race. I mean, I had to use a faster pair in lap 3 because I wanted to, have some fun before the faster pair. But I mean, I keep looking back on that wreck, and I just feel like he probably could have done a better job. I mean, Zach gave him the bottom, and from my standpoint, it looks like he just drives straight through him, not intentional, but he just drives straight through him, and it causes like the entire front pack to wreck. So like, I mean, it's just, I don't know, like as a league standpoint, I mean, it wrecks the entire front pack. I mean, I just don't understand. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't look like there's intent behind it, but at the same time, it just isn't the best driving move.
Oh, Jonathan, you were neutral until that comment. So now you can take the heat from the YouTube chat, and I don't have to anymore because I'm just the guy running the show. But congratulations on 3rd place here. I know you got a few people you want to shout out. Go ahead.
I like to shout out my friends. I have Seven Hawthorne and Christian Leonard. And I'll even shout out Zachary King. We were all in the voice chat together. And, my friend Seven's going to hopefully, if he doesn't choke very badly, win the championship, which I'm proud of. And, I'd like to shout out Brandon for running this league. As much as I do disagree with a lot of things, I do enjoy the races here. And, I enjoy the IndyCar races. They're very fun, in my opinion. But I shout out you guys at V-Speed. I mean, Morgan did a good job, and unfortunately, with the new schedule change, he couldn't broadcast them anymore. So I'm happy you're able to be here and broadcast them for us. And that's all I really have to think.
There you go. Morgan Cook, the shout out there. That's the main one. And I want to shout out Morgan Cook as well, getting it this far into the season. But with the schedule change here on Monday nights, 9:30, we'll see you at the Milwaukee Mile in 7 days.
Yes, I'll see you too.
Jonathan Gashiri going to finish 3rd here at Daytona, and the fireworks at the front stretch in this doubleheader. Well, if you're still in the chat, we appreciate you watching this far into the broadcast, the post-race interviews, and all of the action here from Mystic iRacing League. We have the Truck Series coming up very soon, and also that Cup Series action. Don't want to miss that as well. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. You'll never miss a single race here on V-Speed. Flag-to-flag coverage all season long into November. But after this doubleheader, my voice has just about had it, so we'll talk about the Milwaukee Mile. That's coming up just 1 week's time, August 17th at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's week 18 of this last 5 races scheduled for me. If you enjoyed it tonight, if you did, hit that subscribe button. Again, for everybody at Mystic, Brandon Willard, who helps put on the show, Dougie Beer for providing our cameras, Adam Baker, Morgan Cook for carrying this series all the way up until the schedule change. and everyone in between. This is Bradley Cooper saying so long from Daytona. Congratulations to Mason Mitchum on the victory at the Oval in the 10 of Indy Kirkenbauer at the road course. Stay tracking, everybody.